Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Arms Trade Tycoon Tanks. We're currently looking at the closed beta. So this is something that you might be able to play if you're a patron. Otherwise, consider becoming a patron to their studio, linked down below in the description. Now, last episode, what I was doing was shipping tanks in a hurry, because I have a couple of tanks that still need to get delivered to complete the first contract. There are 6 days remaining on contract 1. For the 1st battalion, they want a couple tanks. I gave them a couple tanks, but I need a few more delivered. And we only have, well, 5 days left to get these things delivered. If there are no delays, that means I complete the contract. The next contract, however, is going to require a couple more resources, because I was awarded the contract, and I have until March 14th next year, so that's about 3 months in order to get these things produced. However, resources are a bit short. In order to build all of these 20 tanks, I'm going to have to get some new things. If I want to get 20 more Petrovs, let's see how much I have. Yeah, here we go. At this point, you can see that the assign button is grayed out. So this means you don't have the resources. You're going to need more. So what I need is a couple of the, let's say, more base resources. Things like rare metals, ceramic plating, plastics, and composite armor are far in the future. Are definitely not something we'll be using in 1914. So, I'm going to need a bit more iron, a bit more medium carbon steel, rubber, high carbon steel, and glass. Yeah. Quite a lot more, in fact. The limiting factor, however, is just iron. And once I get to 20, it's also going to be medium carbon steel. But, well, I don't have that much money, so I might just get the order for the iron and the medium carbon steel, and then we'll be able to go and complete the contract. This is the warehouse. I need to be somewhere else. I need to be in the depot, because that's where you order additional supplies. Sorry, in the warehouse. However, you have a couple of different ways of going about it. I want to be... yeah, here we go, on the right-hand side. I want to be getting some additional iron, and it's going to be a question of how fast can it get here, and not only that, but how reliable is that delivery. Depending on where your purchase is going to come from, you can see that over on the bottom right-hand side, we have a medium reliability. This has a potential delay of 7. You got medium, high, and low. So this thing has a low reliability. It is generally cheaper, but, well, whether it'll actually get there in time, that is a gamble. If you have time, like I do now, I can actually afford to gamble. I can go, well, yeah, okay, that's fine. But it's going to be 28 days until it gets here in the first place. So importing this stuff from Africa is probably not going to be my best bet. North America is worse. So I think Europe might be my best bet. I'm not even sure how we can get it from Asia faster than from Europe. Those must be some speedy ships. Also, if you look at the price, in Asia you're paying far, far less for medium carbon steel and iron than you do in Europe. It's 5 and 6 versus 3 and 4, which, since this is a Tycoon game and we're trying to make some money, is rather important. Now, the difference in transport is 8 days versus 21, plus potentially additional 7, but I think I can afford that. So, what I want to get is... there we go. I was going, what the hell? Why can I not get it? Here, it's going to cost me 72,000, and with this I'll be able to assemble another 11 tanks, plus the resources that I have right now. If you go over this, the game's going to say, sorry, we don't have the additional things on the market. We're going to basically dry the whole market of raw resources in Asia by simply building 11 tanks. That's a fairly sorry state of the economy, but this is what we have. So we're going to sign that order, and in 21 days we'll be able to get those resources. However, in the meanwhile, we're going to be doing some building, because I don't need to wait all that time to get at least some production going. Because they ordered another 20 tanks, so we're going to give them another 20 tanks. However, we can only build 14. So let's get that going. It's going to take 37 days, which means that another 6 is going to take... yeah, it's going to take a little bit more time, but not that much. About 2 weeks. Considering that we have 37 days first, that means that the additional resources can come in. After that, I can complete the order. Or at least I can start building the order. In the meanwhile, we have also been doing some research, so let's head over to the Design Bureau and come up with a different tank. I might, however, not have all the required parts yet, because I simply haven't built this thing before. This is the Medium Whippet Mark I. It does work with the Daimler cylinder, 6-cylinder Mark I that I have. It also works with the low running gear that I have, but I haven't actually designed this thing yet. So we're going to have to potentially engineer this, and we're going to edit this in engineering. I do want to save the design, so I can come back to it, and let's see if I can boost the engineering quality of this. We got the Idler Mark I or the Mark III. It automatically selected the Mark III, which is lighter by a substantial margin. It has more agility, it has better operational range, and it has better running gear. Is it more expensive? No, actually. It is less expensive, it costs fewer man hours, and it's cheaper. We're going to stick with the Idler Mark III. The Idler Mark I, I'm not even sure why it's still an option. I don't see any kind of benefit here. Then, mid-shoots, we're going to keep those. The sprocket, I think it's the same story. No, actually not quite. This thing is lighter, yes. Agility is better, you got better road speed, you got better cross-country speed, but your man-hour cost is 125 versus 320. So the sprocket is going to take a bit more time to put together. And then we have the Sprung Rollers Mark I. I cannot edit that. And we have the track inserts, but I don't have any of those researched. So let's get this thing built in 6 days and make sure that our new medium tank has the best gear it can get. That does mean that, for now, I don't really have anything that I can work on in design. Because we're going to have to wait 6 days for the engineering to complete that design. Are there any other things I might want to change? Because this is getting engineered. We have the armored seal. I don't think we need to edit that. I can't even if I want to. I can edit the hull, however. But I'm going to have to wait for that. Then we have the weaponry on this vehicle. Which, since it's a medium tank, or, well, maybe more actually a light tank, it only has machine guns. This does mean that for some contracts, it might not be a viable option. Because it doesn't have enough hard power, as they call it. You got the protection here, you got armored seal, firepower hard, that's the one I meant. You're going to be able to kill hard targets, i.e. tanks, or soft targets, i.e. infantry. So in this situation, you might want to be able to bring a bit more firepower if you're dealing with a tank. But this tank cannot do that. So this is just going to be, well, I guess a breakthrough tank would be the best term. And once the Mark Is, or as I call them, the Petrov tanks, have been able to push through, this thing crushes any infantry behind the lines. Now, it's not going to need nearly as much crew, nor will it have the space. The commander is going to go in first. Who is unavailable? That's peculiar. Where's the commander? Everybody's multitasking, but there's no commander? Did somebody forget the commander? Who's commanding this thing? I don't know how this is going to work out. Okay, we're going to have a gunner. Oh, whoops. Driver, gunner, gunner. Yeah, look at the amount of things that I need. That is going to be a bit of a problem, at least with the amount of crew capacity that I have right now, which is only 4. If I take out, let's say, the back machine gun and potentially the front one, so we're just going to be shooting at the sides, that means I can satisfy the gunner with 1 crew member. But I'm not sure if that's going to work out too well. Because it means I don't have any firepower out the front. So this thing is going to cross potentially a trench and then shoot out the sides with a machine gun. I don't know. It feels like it's not going to be a great option. But since engineering is part of what I pay for every month anyway, we're going to throw this thing together and see how well it will work. I'm going to save the design, but I can't actually do anything with it. I can assign people, but I'm still waiting for those engineering things. So, again, in line of my Dreadnoughts campaign, this is going to be the Kuban class tank. More of a light tank. Although, well, technically the game calls it a medium. Alright, let's move up and see if we can get that thing done. New military equipment. France has rearmed its artillery regiments with new equipment. Okay. Consider this when designing your future tanks, as potential opponents is becoming more lethal. The potential opponent is becoming more lethal. Yeah, so we're going to have to armor up against a 75mm gun, which might mean that that rolled homogeneous armor that we have is going to come in very useful. Now, when it comes to firepower and mobility, I do have the low pass running gears. I can now also get the petrol octane 47, or I can get the improved common round. So let's go for this, because we right now only have one type of shell. We got the common round, we got the solid shot round, which has a higher kinetic pen. This is 25. This is only 2. This, however, is HE, which does a lot of damage, but almost no kinetic penetration. It does, however, do shock pen, and that's something that this thing does not do. So shock pen is going to be able to deal with, I think, soft targets a little better. Key attack attribute used in armor penetration and damage phases of the battle against hard targets. Which is interesting, because I would think that that kinetic pen would be more interesting for that, considering we're going through armor. Anyway, we're going to go research this thing. It's going to take me a couple days. And this also means that my tanks are going to be more versatile, as I can re-engineer the Petrov, well, redesign the Petrov, that is, and make sure that it also has an additional ammo stowage. Let's see, did we get the thing delivered? No, 2 days left, I think. Yeah, 2 days left. Please don't give me any delays, because that would suck. 1 day. Done. Just-in-time delivery. The time is out for one of your contracts. They are equipped with as many tanks as you managed to deliver. Hopefully you delivered all tanks as promised. I believe I did, and this means my money has now been replenished. My predicted balance is even going up, thanks to the contract number 1 income. So now it's time to start focusing on contract number 2. We have 67 days remaining. We should have at least a couple tanks ready, but I'm not sure if that's going to be... Yeah, we got 1 tank ready. We're not going to ship those just yet. We're going to wait. I do believe that there are currently no conflicts, and everybody's just arming up. Everybody's just readying up their weaponry and getting out there and preparing for the, well, I suppose you could say inevitable. Because at some point, something will flare up. If you give armies a bunch of gear, they will very likely want to use said gear. Alright, here's the medium weapon Mark 1. We're going to upgrade that wrought iron to RHA steel. We also have the new assembly type. So far we've been using rivets, but I can upgrade this to bolts. This means that we have a higher volume limit. Or a lower volume limit. I'm not sure how to read this. This is one of those tooltips that could be slightly improved. We have a structure point, or structure score of 5 points, and this is 10. Key attribute in the repairs phase of the battle. So this thing should be easier to fix, as opposed to the rivets. When it comes to this thing, we get a better crew safety, and we get better structure. So let's go with the bolted assembly. We have ammo stowage Mark 1. We still don't have any sights, nor external crew comms, nor internal crew comms. We do, however, have the option to add additional fuel stowage. And with these additional fuel stowages, we should be able to get a bit farther afield. Vision port Mark 1, ventilation Mark 1, hull hatch Mark 2, and that's the upgraded version. The door. And finally, I can add a tail wheel, which will allow this thing to transit bigger trenches. I'm not sure if I need that, though. I'm not sure if I need that. It is going to make the tank probably more mobile. Yeah, its agility goes up by 3 points. Obstacle step height also changes. So that tail wheel does really add a lot of options. And considering that World War I could be just around the corner, let's go with the tail wheel. So I'm going to assign this project to the engineering, to the engineering bureau. They're going to work on this. And once it's done, we can incorporate that into the medium tank. And wouldn't you know it, a military campaign in Iceland between Britain and Denmark has started. What? Okay. Britain and Denmark forces are rapidly approaching each other. Make sure to follow the development of the campaign and corresponding battles. If your tanks are participating in the campaign, the headquarters will provide you with a detailed battle report. So, why? Why is Denmark Okay. They have horses. We have armored. And we have archery. We have horses and we have basic infantry. Shouldn't be too hard. I mean, these tanks are good tanks. I mean, I built them. I should know. I don't believe we have any reverse engineering tanks yet, which is unfortunate because I would love to look at the secrets of my competitors. There we go. Engineering is complete. Now let's have a look at that design, because now we should be able to complete the design of the Cuban tank. There are no other things that I can edit in engineering, so now I can assign it. Oh, right, the crew. The crew. I don't understand why there's no commander. That makes no sense to me, but I guess we're going to have to use a mechanic. So somebody is going to be telling people what to do, but I'm not sure which of these gentlemen it's going to be. Okay. Time for some editing commentary. What I completely overlooked, that is in selected crew, you have crew slots which are specific to the commander. I completely fluffed that up. So yes, you can have a commander on this tank. This is not a beta problem. This is a me problem. A few days later, we have learned that a new offensive has begun. Keep an eye on the progress of the military campaign and the corresponding battles. Let's have a look then. I think, again, like, the British have 14 military strength. These guys have 5. I think the Danish are going to have a very, very difficult time on their hands. The infrastructure, railways, doesn't really tell me anything, nor does the landscape. I'm not sure if this is going to be a benefit or a detractor to the Petrov. We'll just have to see how that goes. So, we're going to just let that go. And if anything interesting happens, I guess we'll get a pop-up. There we go. We got the improved common rounds. Very nice. Can we do something about the sights, potentially? That would not fall under firepower, I imagine. Twin engines. I don't think that's it either. I have no idea. I can try and research the improved medium hull. It's going to take me 112 days, though. That's a heck of a project. The medium Hornet. Alternatively, we have the Mark V tanks. That, too, is going to take me a heck of a lot of time. 122 days. This is the female sponson. It's not really what I want. I don't believe anything like this is going to give me an upgrade to my Whippet tank. This is the running gear. Okay, well, I guess let's go get the better fuel. Because that might mean this thing is going to be performing better. More operational range. Push through and get through the trenches and beyond a lot farther. Now, the Russians are doing something really weird. Reports from the east describe a massive weapon tested on the order of the Tsar. A gigantic Tsar tank seems to use 3 gargantuan wheels linked to 2 blimp engines and is armed with a cannon and a machine gun in a central tower. What is that? I have no idea. I look forward to seeing one of those and reverse engineering it. Because with that, I'll be potentially able to build something silly like that myself and test drive it, which is something I'm especially interested in. Alright, 6 more days and we have the 20 Petrovs that I need. Should give me plenty of time. 36 days. So 16 days left. And yeah, that should be plenty. I can get those things there in 20 days. No problem. I can already ship them. I don't know if there's going to be like a bundle bonus, if you will. Ship more tanks and get one for free. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be. Like you're paying a flat rate. With these guys, it's going to take 12 days. With a medium safety, I need something with a high probability of getting there. Price per unit is going to be 3k. Though look at the price difference. 3,000 or 950. This means that you want to try and optimize for something that's, I'd say, well, it's going to be pretty quick. Like low delivery. Sorry, low safety, low price. They have a capacity of 20 only, though. So that would suffice. But if it goes sideways, we're not going to have enough time. If I go for the other... Is there another low? No, it's a medium. This medium is going to be 12 days plus potential 7. This would work with a price point of 1,000 each. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's wait for the production to complete and send out more tanks. With all the Petrovs completed after a bit, I only have 18 days left, which means that this medium safety margin is just a little shy for me. It would mean that if I get the delay, I'm going to get hit by 20 late fees, because every tank's going to be late. So I'm going to use something that's slightly more expensive. I don't like it. It's going to cost me 5 grand more. But if this delays, it's going to be 8 plus 5, 7 is 15, which means it would fit. So we're going to sign the order, ship the tanks, and get another contract in the bag. I would love it if another contract would pop up, because my money is dwindling. I mean, naturally it is. We're going to have to try and make a whole bunch of money with a new contract, but nothing has been issued yet. I would love to try and also get a contract for, like, another nation. Maybe the French would like to get a tank. Oh, look at that. The Renault TMP has been produced. Sorry, this is their factory name, the company name. They've completed the infantry support tank, codename FT-17. Where have we seen that name before? Medium weapon mark 1 complete. Alright, I wanted to test something. Because remember that I engineered that tank with a different type, or rather with additional fuel. I kicked the fuel out, so I thought maybe... Nope. I thought maybe we're going to have more fuel or no additional fuel capabilities inside the vehicle, which might mean additional crew capacity inside the vehicle. But no. We're still not getting anywhere with this tank. Unfortunate, because I would really like to see how this is going to work out. But unfortunately, well, we can't do anything with it. Well, Germany would like a contract, or would like a couple of tanks. The Landship Committee has finally issued its requirements for tanks, and with it, announced a new tank contract. The 1st Battalion to be equipped with 20 tanks, capable of crossing German trenches and dealing with enemy infantry. I'm not sure if they're supposed to cross German trenches, as in they're moving forward over their own trenches, or if they're trying to crush British trenches. I'm not sure exactly if this is the right text, but let's go with the fact that it is correct. What do they want? And how well does my design stack up? Wow. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Okay. I have a success score of minus 337, which is because they want far better protection on this thing than I'm offering right now. Okay, that's interesting. So I'm losing 119 points on this. We have options to change that. If I go and change this one, like get a new hull design, maybe I can up armor that thing. So we're gonna go with the engineering bureau and see if the RHA steel is gonna be making things better. Why do you not want to work? Here, that's the concept one. RHA, bolted assembly. Empty, you're going to get ammo stowage, you're going to get shell stowage, you're going to get fuel stowage now, vision ports are still tier 1, you're going to get the hatch mark 2, you're going to get the door mark 2, the roof is fine, and the tail is fine. Alright, that's the mark 1, mark 3, just to make things very easy to understand. 12 days. I'm going to have to upgrade my design eventually, but it is going to get outdated, the Petrov. At some point, it is just not going to be sufficient for the somewhat more modern battlefield. So this means, hopefully, I'll still be able to compete for the contract, because the design deadline is 31 days from now. If I can get this thing engineered and then designed, I might be able to get what I want. I might be able to still compete for the contract. There, contract 2 completed, and I now have $1 million in the bank. So far, it seems to be going quite well. I'm also working on the medium tank in the design bureau, in the research bureau, but that's going to take a while. The Battle of Seltjarnars has ended. With the British seizing the battlefield after fierce combat, the 3rd Wessex Brigade showed to be superior. So this has gone quite well. It looks like no units were killed. They had a mobilization bonus. Yeah, makes sense. Tanks aren't exactly that mobile. Not yet, anyway. 20... What? 24 unit count. That's like 24 RD weapons, I guess. Against 10,000 men. Okay. Outcome report. I suspect this is... Yeah, it's remaining strength. So they lost like 4 guns and the other guys lost 3,000 men. That is a really bad trade. Would not recommend. Alright, Mark 1, Mark 3 is complete. Let's have a look and see if I can re-engineer the Petrov with that newer hull type. This is going to be the Mark 1, Mark 3. We're going to have the same crew in there. We're going to have different types of ammunition in here, however. Because now I have the AP Mark 1. I guess. Why can I not select that? Am I missing something? Because this is the type of ammo that you can just put on the tank. HE, AP, or HE Mark 1. And there's no counter either, as far as I can tell. There's no... You can put this many shells on this particular type of tank. But then again, this is a beta, so... I guess these things don't work yet? Which is a bit weird. Also, why can I not assign engineers to it? Because this is basically a new tank, right? Okay. Create a design. No. It's going to be the Mark 1, Mark 3. With the same engine, with the same centipede tracks, with sponson, with the Hotchkiss here and the Hotchkiss there, and the machine gun over there. We're going to have... Ah, there it is. Now I can adjust it. So we're going to have AP Mark 1. We're going to have HE Mark 2. You cannot duplicate it. HE Mark 1 seems to be worse in every single regard, so I'm not going to bring that. Standard ammo. More standard ammo is not available. And Petrol 47, which is going to give them better range. It's going to make the tank more expensive, yes, but hopefully that will be offset, or that will be offsetting some things that, you know, I don't have. Such as potentially protection, but I find that a bit hard to figure out. We still need, like, more gunners, I guess. Is there something like a gunner mechanic? Yes, you. You're with me. We even have a spare slot. Interesting. Okay. This is going to be the Petrov Mark II. Save that design. I can even paint the thing. And we're going to go with camouflage. There we go. That's the Petrov II. Now we're going to have to create this design. Assign it 18 days. It's going to get pretty tight. Because I have 19 days on the application. So the moment that the engineers are ready, we're going to go, okay guys, send it in. And wait for the message from the Germans saying whether they like it or don't like it. Ah, they're fighting again. How is that going for you? This is plain off-road rural medium intensity. Okay. I don't know if this means that the British have a chance to conquer Iceland. I'm not even sure why they're fighting in Iceland. Strikes me as completely random. Italy has rearmed the cavalry regiment. That's fine. Military campaign in North Brabant. What? Between Germany and the Netherlands? How? How expect this to go? What? Really? We're sending the Flevoland Lancers? Oh, as a Dutchman, this is absolutely insane. But okay. We're sending 1,500 horse, 10,000 men, against 10,000 men and 24 arty guns. Gentlemen, good luck. Come on, I want to see if the Germans accept the contract. want to see what they think of the Petrov 2. That's the Petrov 1. Look at that, minus 81. They like the Petrov Mark II a heck of a lot better. But is there a way for me to sweeten the deal? They're paying top dollar. I think this protection level is just insurmountable. They want more front thickness on the tank. They want more side thickness and rear thickness. Yeah, that's something I cannot engineer for them at the moment. Well, they also want more turret thickness, side thickness. Yeah, right. Nope, sorry. Wait. 286? Oh, if I'm... Well, okay. If I lower the price of the tank by, like, everything, you might be able to get the contract this way. We're competing with the A7V. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so I need to beat 297 points. I can do that. And if I build, like, 20 tanks, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that. Give me an extension on the contract, please. Oh, boy. Now, you might note that the desired text quality is 20. I can only offer 15. Because this is not going to adjust how much your success score varies. But it will matter, or it's going to matter with how many... how much money you make. So, in this case, 275k might not be that interesting. If you're only selling 10 tanks. Let's see. I'm paying... Let's say I'm getting 27,500 for a tank. They want to pay 55k? Yeah, you're going to be getting rich over that. If I'm selling this thing for 27k, how much is it going to cost me to build? Because that is very important to know. One of these things is going to cost me 15k in money, and that's not counting resources. Okay. So I do still make a profit. In that case, Germans, you're going to be getting this particular tank. They fucking hate the Kuban, look at that. Makes sense, because this thing does not exactly live up to the firepower heart specialization, nor protection. So, I understand where they're coming from. I'm going to say I can deliver... Yeah, this is going to be extremely tight, actually. Extremely tight. I can deliver 10 tanks. No, not in a month and a half. How much do I need to beat? 297. There. Boom. Let's see if they actually accept it. I think they will, but completing that contract is going to be pretty difficult. That deadline is very, very, very difficult. We're going to have to immediately start producing these things, and if they don't want them, that's fine. But we'll just have to try and get some other buyer to be interested in the Petrov 2. And of course, we're still going to have to test drive the Petrov 2, but it's such a small change that I don't think it's going to be very interesting. I hope that I can get the resources for the 2 in good time. Let's order enough to build 10 tanks from Europe. It cost me 112. I'm going to get here in 8 days with a high probability. Jesus, the difference is enormous. 21 days with a potential delay of 7 days. I think I can make that work. Because we're only building 5 tanks once this thing is completed, right? Middle East says I can't do that. Africa says I can't do that. North America is way too long. Okay. Asia it is. Don't let me down, dude. Because I don't have the time for delays. We're running a very, very tight ship here. And I hope it's going to work out. But you'll have to see about that in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching this one. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And I'll see you soon for the next episode.